everybody. Welcome to On the Scene Chicago. My name is DL, and I'm so blessed today to have three amazing guests for episode 1 of On the Scene with Scene Chicago. To my immediate right, I got filmmaker extraordinaire, Mr. Mark Harris.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Brother, thank you for showing up. And to his immediate right, we got the lovely Renee Demens. Renee?
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
So we're excited to have you. And yo, Playboy, on the end, Mr. Dennis. Yo. The legendary Harold Dennis is in the building, Chicago.
I am so happy to be on the inaugural show. Thank you very much.
I thank you for having me. So tell me about you guys. So, Mr. Harris.
Yes, sir.
Help me understand this. Why the film? What makes you get in the film?
Well, I kind of accidentally stumbled into directing, and I always wanted to be a writer, but I didn't know that I wanted to write screenplays. I started off writing poetry, and then from poetry, I said, let me just give a shot at writing screenplays, and I started writing screenplays. And once I wrote a number of screenplays, it was like over 10. Wow. I was trying to get projects made, and it was very difficult. So I was like, if I want to do it, I have to do it myself. So, and that's how I got into directing, and I love it.
Okay, you said you started off being a writer. Now, that's something I didn't know. Mm-hmm. So, you're a poet?
No,
I didn't know it.
I'm not a poet. I wrote poetry. Well, I'm not a spoken word artist, but I wrote poetry.
Okay, I got you. How about yourself, Renee? You're an actor. How'd you get into this acting?
I think I've always wanted to do that. And when I was growing up, I couldn't think of anything else that I really wanted to do. So I guess after trying really hard to think of other things, I just gave in and I said, all right, I guess I'm just going to go for it. So, and I'm glad I did. I mean, it keeps it interesting. I have to say that everything is different. Each job is different. Each role is different. It's just, it's really an exciting world, I think.
What's your favorite role you played so far?
I would probably say a role I had in the Judas Run. It's a film about a hustler, and she's kind of
You're the hustler?
I kind of take money or things from people, and that's how I make my money. So but it was a fun role to play. I mean, it was a gritty role. I got to be kind of a tough chick, and Harold was also in that film, so he can tell us how he's
what's going on?
She's real tough.
But he's tougher. He's in the military in this one. So it's a really, I don't know. I guess it's just an empowering role, I guess, even though I'm not quite, the good girl that you sometimes want to be all the time.
Uh-oh.
This is kind of the role where you get to be the kind of a bad girl, but
and the lead.
Yeah, so I was the lead as well.
That's an amazing piece, though. That's an amazing thing to be the lead.
It's fun. It's definitely fun.
Mr. Dennis, acting, how did it come about?
Well, when I was conceived in the womb.
You were acting in the womb. I believe it.
Yeah, I was kicking. Actually, I saw, it was a pipe dream when I was a kid. But I saw my high school band teacher in The Fugitive, and he had lines with Harrison Ford, and he lives right here in Chicago, not L.A. or New York. I was like, how'd that happen? He's not an actor. Mr. Watson told me, he says, I'm not an actor, Harold. They called me. So, and he was in Soul Food, the movie, The Fugitive, Groundhog's Day, Hoodlum, on and on. And so, once I saw that, I was like, wait a minute. He lives here, so it's not impossible to be an actor. Mm. And so I began to spark my imagination, and then I found myself doing some extra work back March 20 years ago.
Sure.
21 years ago now. And
well, that was before I was born. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No comment. and so shortly after that, I started taking classes over at ETA on the South Side, beginning in advanced acting for August of 1997, and did that for a whole year. Then I started acting troupe February with a few cats from class and actors from around the city. We used to meet every Saturday morning for a year, from 10 a.m. to 2 in the morning, 2 in the afternoon. And it was like my buddy, I says, Kenny, I says, why don't we do it during the week? He says, no, let's do it Saturday morning, because if they come, then they're serious, because we just wanted serious. We were real serious about being actors back then. That's right.
Want to see the dedication.
So I was doing the 2 classes and the workshop. And then last story, I got involved in a blues play in summer of 98. And by October of 1998, we went up. We was just supposed to go October 2nd and 3rd for the show. And I had to lead in it. And we ended up I left the show in June 2000. I did 171 shows every Friday, Saturday night.
171 shows.
That's how I started.
Wow.
Always looking for the movies. Always looking for the films. Yeah.
Well, Mr. Harris, I'm gonna first want to say, listen, I'm a fan, man. I've been following your career for a minute, and I'm sure all the rest of Chicago has as well. Mm-hmm. Tell me, what would you qualify as your, to date, you feel is your best movie and why? That you've directed.
I will say Black Coffee.
Okay.
Because that's the one that resonates more with people when, like, not just here in Chicago, like not just in America, all around the world. Like,
oh wow!
I get messages from people like it was bootlegged in Nigeria.
It was bootlegged. They bootlegged in Nigeria. You know you made it when they start bootlegging you, brother.
And so that it would definitely be Black Coffee, and because the subject matter and what it's talking about, and so it's basically Black Coffee is a story about a guy who loses his job, and he finds a woman who encourages him to go in business for himself. Okay. So it's a movie about doing something for yourself, going business for yourself, and and pulling your resources together and building up your community. Okay. So that's a film that I get a lot still to this day. It was made in 2014, and still to this day we get a lot of emails, a lot of responses, and that's the film people know more about.
I was checking that out just the other night. I forget what it's called. That Fire Stick thing. I saw it on Fire Stick. I was like, whoa, I'm gonna have this guy. We would sit down and talk about all the different things he's directed and the impact he's had on Chicago. If you could put classify Chicago in terms for directing actors and the amount of roles and things of that nature, how can people get involved in the business? How would you, what would you recommend for them? What would you suggest?
As far as directing,
acting, the whole gamut. Let's talk about the whole gamut.
Well, I'm a big promoter of doing things yourself and don't wait and sit back and ask for people or ask for permission to do it. So I learned that early on in my career. When again, like I was saying, is that when I started writing screenplays, trying to pitch your projects to different studios, and the doors were always shut. So I'm like, I have to do it myself. So I'm a big promoter of just going out and doing it yourself, and let them come to you. And when they come to you, then you have more leverage and power to negotiate your deal.
Absolutely, I agree. So are you from Chicago originally?
South Inglewood.
Okay.
Yeah.
A young man from Inglewood.
Yeah, Inglewood.
See, young man.
68 Justine.
68 Justine. He rap in Chicago.
Inglewood, yeah.
How about yourself?
59th and Ada.
There we go. Now here it starts. It's gonna start now. How about yourself, Renee?
I am from the Chicagoland area as well. The
suburbs. Okay, the suburbs. Which one? I'm sorry. Which one? No. The suburbs. You don't mind?
Well, from the LaGrange area. I'm sorry.
So that's still South Side. You rapping?
Pretty much. Yeah, I don't rap much, but no. So I lived kind of there, and now I live closer to the city. I lived in the city for a while, and that's a very expensive place to live. But
tell me about it.
It's fine, but I mean, and also the parking I think is the worst. I just have to say it's hard to find parking. But other than that, Chicago is an amazing place to be. There are so many opportunities now. There's I think you could call it a community of filmmakers, theater. There's a really big group of people, and I think it's getting bigger all the time. I mean, it's really exciting.
I like the idea that, quite frankly, some people feel as though, and I want each and every one of you guys to respond to this if you can for me. People feel as though they got to go to one of the coasts for the arts here in Chicago. Me personally, I think, what do you think about that? Do you think you have to go to the West Coast to be an actor or director? Do you have to go to the East Coast to get in fashion? I mean, is Chicago self-contained? You tell me about that. I mean, what do you guys think? I want each and every one of you guys' opinions.
Well, I think when it comes to as far as acting, that they still cast the big roles out of LA. The big roles, when you're talking about movies, when you're talking about television, even when you're talking about crew, they cast they cast and they hire those type of roles out of Los Angeles.
Sure.
But then when it comes to Chicago, then Chicago get the extras or what they call it, the
day players,
which is unfortunately.
For those of us challenged, what's a day player? Keep going.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines.
Got it.
Yeah, and so So I think that you can do it here in Chicago, but I think you definitely need an address out in LA. So that's where you make. 'Cause I'm gonna give you an example. I live here in Chicago,
Okay.
but I was out in LA for about 2 months. About 2 months ago, but I was there for a 2 month period, and I
Okay.
had so many meetings out in LA that I just didn't have here in Chicago. So you could this is as a director. It's
Okay.
always are you here in LA? Yes. Oh, let's have a meeting. But these meetings resulted into work or into getting your project, getting
Sure.
projects, to different producers. So
Okay.
it is much, to be honest with you, it is much easier when you're out in LA than it is when you're in Chicago.
How do you feel about that, Harold?
Well, I used to 18 years ago. It was like, I wish I could move
18
to
years
LA.
ago?
I wish I could move to LA. I wish I could move. With the onset of online and social media and everything else, I operate right here in Chicago, and I find that a lot of stuff is happening in LA because that's like Mark said, that's where the people are cast from. But at the same time, there's some things that happen here in the city that don't happen anywhere else, and so meetings and opportunities present themselves here too. And it's a smaller market here. It's a big market, but it's a smaller market, and some people from New York and LA are here.
Starting to migrate.
You don't know that they're here. Like, I've gone to some events. I was like, wow, you live in Chicago. And so I've got meetings set up with people who are doing budget films. And, so eventually anything can work out for you anywhere, as long as, you keep your ear to the grind, you stay on the grind, and you'll find these things. But yeah, the majority of these mainstream television shows are things they cast out there. And then I can look for a one-liner or two-liner here. And that's okay. I've built my career on the independent circuit, and I'm very happy with what I've done over the last 20 years. And I'm noticing that the recognition and the prominence is becoming so great. It's like, I'm a big fish in a small market. And that's how I feel because of the results that I'm receiving. I'm doing what I've been doing for so long that things are working out. And so I'm happy to be here in Chicago, and I don't have to go anywhere else right now.
20 years in the business, young man. Tell me about that. What advice would you give to someone just starting out in the business, trying to become an actor here in Chicago?
Oh, this is real quick. Everybody's got natural born abilities and talent. Oh, I'm so this and that. I always say, yeah, just go ahead and study too. Take some classes, because you'll meet other people, like-minded people, and then you'll start developing a sense of a way of thinking, and follow successes of other people's successes, and find your way in movies real quick. Bit roles, independent roles, do a little extra work so you can see what the set looks like and how to get some set etiquette, and be sure to take classes and study, because studying is very, very important. I've been in classes, accumulated 18 of the 20 years that I've been doing this. I'm always in somebody's class, and I'm always training, and now I'm teaching other actors. And so I'm always giving this advice. So take classes, read books, look at videos, and move around. Go to film screenings, go see films, get a business card with your picture on it that says actor, actress, and just volunteer festivals. You meet people, meet people, link them up on your Facebook, social media, and keep in contact, because they post looking for people. If you got a face-to-face connection with them, you got a foot in the door.
Something key. I want everybody to respond to this. All you guys. You said actor or actress. Is there a difference?
No.
I think now they're, I don't know exactly when and where it started, but actor became kind of like the term. Like I've heard this, it's said this way. You don't say doctor or doctoress. You say doctor, even if it's a male or a female. So I think for a while they were thinking that was more respectful to just say actor. But I noticed that some of the awards they say the male actor goes to, I think it's, and then they'll say the female actor award goes to. But at the Oscars, they still say best actress, best actor.
Okay.
So it is, I think it hasn't been totally worked out yet as to how that's going to come about. But really, if you say an actor, he's an actor, she's an actor, it's the same. So.
Mr. Harris, what do you got going? Like, from Black Coffee to I Used to Love Her, what do you got going in the works right now that you would like to share with the people tuning in right now?
Well, I started filming this movie called It's a Thriller, and this is the first. Like most of my
Michael
films,
Jackson thriller?
No. No. Most of my projects have been romantic comedies, so
Okay.
this is my first thriller. And I started filming in August in LA.
In LA?
Yes, sir.
So if I'm trying to be an actor and I'm trying to get into business, I mean, how can I get on? What do I need to do to get in contact with you, or what's the channels that I need to go through in order to be a part of that thing? Your feature going on in LA this summer.
So I'm doing things a little bit different now. Like
Okay.
it was at one point when I I was, I could cast myself, but when you're dealing with bigger budget films,
Okay.
then you have to have casting directors to do those type of jobs for you.
Sure.
So I just stay out of it and let the casting directors and the producers do their job.
Okay.
So I don't take any headshots anymore. At one point, I used to take headshots because I used to cast my own films.
Okay.
But you're dealing with smaller budget films. But when you're dealing with bigger budget films, and this one, The House Behind the Tracks, is going to be my biggest budget ever that I've done so far. I'm not gonna say ever, but that I've done so far. And so I'm just stepping back and let the producers and the casting directors do their job.
I got you.
Yeah.
So big budgets. What's the average? I mean, what's a budget? What's the biggest budget film or to date? Because I see nothing but greatness coming from you continuously. The energy, positive. I've been on set with you a couple of times when I've sat down and when you're filming Black Privilege. And I bought a T-shirt too, Chicago. I'm repping. I don't have it on today, but I'm repping. Reality is, what's a good budget? I mean, tell me a budget.
I mean, it can vary. You mean as far as my earlier films, I've done my budgets were less than.
Let's do a competitive analysis from the beginning, from where you started to where you are.
Oh, when I first did my first film, it was about $500, and then I Used to Love Her was shot for $3,500.
Okay.
Black Coffee was shot for $120,000, and I stayed in about that range. And so the House Behind the Tracks is way more than what those have been shot for. So we're now in the $1 million range.
So you can finally pay me to be on your tag for you, huh? See Chicago. Get a radio show. Get to meet the director. You throw your hat in the ring. Renee, to date, I tell you, let me ask you a couple questions.
Sure.
What advice do you have for young actors who happen to be female, and how they can get involved, how they can get, all that kind of cool stuff? Tell me.
I would say it's what Harold said, of course, but also joining local theater, community theater.
Sure.
It's a great way to start to see if you actually really do enjoy acting, because some people just think, oh, you know what, I'll just say a few lines and I'll be famous and that'll be it. And I just want to be famous. Whereas other people really want to act and you want to tell a story and you want to, make people feel things. So there's a big difference, I think, between the two. And if you actually try some community theater and you enjoy it, then you kind of know, okay, this is the path I want to follow. If you find it to be, too tedious or just not interesting, then maybe try something else. But definitely start with that. And like Harold said, take classes, make connections and that kind of thing. And for a woman in the business, it's a little different, of course. There are situations that you find yourself in that you, of course, want to get the job, but then you feel like someone's stepping over a line. So you have to be prepared, I think, beforehand as to how you're going to handle the situation, and often take, I would say actually always take a friend or a family member or something with you if you feel like there's any situation that is uncomfortable for you.
Yeah.
You don't just trust anybody in any situation.
Especially if you want to be famous.
Yeah. Right.
Infamous or famous.
Right. Exactly. So. For sure. So
no, I'm just saying, I agree with 100%, especially in this business. If you're in it just to be famous, then it's going to be tough for you. Meaning that you may get the roles that you want, but at the end of the day, you're going to, just keep it real, you're going to be on that casting couch.
I got you.
So you have to be in this business because this is what you love and this is what you want to do. You want to make a change.
And so whose first love is this, acting? Is this a first love or when I was growing up, I wanted to be a baseball player. Then I wanted to be, a principal like my mom. Then there are a number of things I wanted to do. And then, watching Schoolhouse Rock and all that kind of stuff. I'm just a bill. Anyway, long story short, was this your first love, or, is this your first love? Or?
Yes.
Mine too.
Okay.
It's my only love.
So
Yeah, this is when I used to do other jobs, I used to sit back and think, okay, I hate this. If I could do anything that I wanted to do, something, what would it be that I could do for free? I asked myself that for so many years that I saw Mr. Watson in the movies. I was like, oh, there it is. Yeah. And then after I took my first class and saw what it was, I was like, I'm going to do this for the rest of my life. And that was August 1997.
The year I was born.
Yeah. I'm going to do this. So yeah, this is besides my kids, those types of things, the love of my fraternity, this is it, because this is what I can do, and I don't care if I get paid. I do, but I don't. I do, but I don't, because this is what I
you have to, like in this day, you have to care.
I have to.
That you get paid, because it's you're giving out a service, you're giving out a talent, and that talent is not for free.
And I have a monster talent to give away.
Hey, you know what, guys? About to join us in the studio is Tiffany Addison.
Tiffany
Addison is in the building, and I'm excited. We're gonna take a quick break, Chicago, and get right back at you. And we're gonna bring Tiffany Addison in the studio, and we're gonna bounce off I Used to Love Her and all those kind of cool things Mr. Harris is doing,
and her upcoming film,
and her amazing upcoming film. We're gonna chat about it. All right, be right back, Chicago. Give me a second. Chicago. I want to welcome everybody back. Join us in the studio audience, as I said before, is the lovely Tiffany Addison to my immediate right.
Hi, everyone.
Hello.
And we got Mark, and we got feature filmmaker Mark Harris in the building, Chicago.
Thank you all for having me.
The lovely Rain Domins.
Hello. Nice to see you.
And my main man, Honey Grand, Harold Dennis.
I'm back.
So
Ronell.
And Ronell. Oh, wait. What is that called when you photobomb? It's photo radio station bombing. I got it. That's cool. Come on in here, bro. You in here now? Let's just get on in there. How you feeling, brother?
Hey, man, Ronell Taylor. This was all by accident.
Well, Tiffany, we're all talking about Chicago, put Chicago on the map.
Mm-hmm.
How do we how did you break into how did you break into acting, writing, directing?
Mm-hmm.
And we'll start there, and we'll start about this new film you got coming out that I'd like you to share with everybody and talk about.
Okay.
As well as that beautiful smile. Give it one more time.
Thank you. Too bad you guys can't see it. No. Well, as far as acting is concerned, it's crazy because I used to work in corporate America for quite some time.
Okay.
And I always had, the love for entertainment and everything. And I think one day I said, you know what, I'm going to send these comp cards out and I'm going to get me and some agents to, call me in. I wasn't even thinking about acting at all. Like, I just know that I act crazy with my family, but I didn't really, think to go out for acting.
Absolutely.
So when I did that, I got a lot of callbacks, and I started doing a lot of auditions for modeling and print modeling. But then they started to send me out on commercial auditions. And then I started to get more exposed to film auditions and then theater, and then I just fell in love and voiceover. And
look at those dimples. Look at those dimples beaming.
Yeah. And as far as writing and producing and directing, I always had a love for writing. In my past. Reached out to a good friend of mine who wasn't a friend at the time, but became to be a good friend of mine, Mark Harris, who's sitting to the right of me.
Mark's here?
He's actually here. This guy here. And,
my God.
Instantly, he called me one day, asked me to read over a script for him, to give him notes about it. And then from there, I talked to him about mentoring me. And 2 years later, I'm here.
Because I think I came over, I used to love her. And I think I came over.
Oh, yeah.
We came over with this story on you guys while you guys were filming, over there across the street from the fort. I'm sorry, where the fort used to be. A town on 39th near Drexel. And I think I got an opportunity to meet you, and I saw you budding and doing your work at that point in time.
Yeah.
And you continue to blossom. So tell us about this new movie. Tell us about this new film.
Okay. Well, I have a feature film that's coming out. We are going to be doing a screening at the Studio Movie Grill that's on 87th. It's a feature film called Nothing.
Is that in Chicago?
It's in Chicago, Illinois, on 87th Street, right off the Dan Ryan.
Okay.
And the name of the film is called Nothing Like Thanksgiving. So
who's cooking? Gotta be some eating. Come on now.
My mama was cooking that time during the shoot. She was cooking.
Okay.
But yeah, it's Nothing Like Thanksgiving. It's an amazing film. It's a family friendly film. It's a lot of drama. To me, I call it the perfect roller coaster ride about life. Yeah.
Okay. I like that. So when is that? So when is that screening gonna take place?
The screening takes place on April 23rd.
Okay.
It's 2 screenings that we're gonna have. The networking starts at 7:00. The screening is 7:30. The second screening is 8:30. But we are actually sold out in both screenings.
Hold on, time out.
That's great.
First of all, congratulations.
Yeah, thank you so much. That's Chicago stood up. I am so grateful.
Chicago rapping for you.
Oh my goodness. The first screening sold out within 24 hours of us putting the link up. That's how crazy the support is here for us. So
that's good
stuff.
So
grateful.
So can I sneak in?
Can you sneak in, y'all? Call in, everybody. Let me know. Let's get a poll going. What you think, Mark? Could he sneak in?
Bring some of this candy.
We are sponsored Chicago by My Chocolate Soul. Artisan chocolate, some of the best chocolates you've ever had. 2018 Good Food Award nominee. I love the chocolate. Great chocolate. And I think Mr. Harris can attest to that.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, he took my box. So
I just ate my 2 pieces.
So how did you guys? I mean, all 4 of you guys, I would like to look at as Chicago icons. I mean, advice you would give for somebody trying to break out into the business? I'm going to toss that question to you first.
Okay.
And Mr. Dennis, we'll follow up with you, sir. Go ahead.
Okay. Advice that I would give someone breaking into the industry on which side?
I don't know.
Anything.
You tell me.
Well, first, I would say do a little research and make sure that it is something that you want to do, because it is a lifetime commitment.
Sure.
It's not like a microwave popcorn type of ordeal. It's something that you have to fully commit to. And I say that I started a while ago in the industry, and I didn't commit when I started a while ago.
So I had microwave Jiffy Pop?
Yeah, Jiffy Pop.
Okay, I got you. Keep going.
You have to literally make a commitment to do this for the long haul in order to see the outcome of what will happen.
I understand.
And then I would say, don't just jump in and think that it's easy just because you're looking on the outside. Treat it as if you would treat it any type of career or any type of any type of career,
Sure.
you would put in the training and put in the work and always honing your craft to become the best that you can be in it.
Okay. I'm looking as I look out at the four of you guys. And when I say guys, I mean ladies and gentlemen.
Mm-hmm.
You're all amazing looking, good looking people. They say I got a face for radio, so I'm gonna stick to doing what I'm doing. All right. So I'm trying to figure out, do you have to be? Is it the talent? Is it the good look? Is it a combination? Give me feedback. I'm gonna toss that question to you, Renee.
Oh wow, that's a tough question because there are so many talented actors and actresses that you wouldn't look at and say they're stunning looking, but when they are on film, they really command your attention and they really draw you in and they really make you feel things and they become more beautiful to you and they become just beautiful. So I don't know, that's a really tough question. I think it takes a little bit of both and some luck too.
So the trifecta is beauty, luck,
and also being in the right place at the right time, the right connection. I don't know if you're looking for a one. What were you going to say? I feel I
think it has a lot to do with networking as well.
Networking. Yeah.
So Chicago a good haven or mecca for networking for actors here or no? I mean, talk to me about that. What do you think?
That would be a question for them.
Well, real quick, there's about 5 film schools here in Chicago. You got Columbia College, DePaul, Northwestern Art Institute, and blah, blah. And if you think about it, there are film schools with film students, and each school is probably shooting, like, each semester, they're probably shooting 100 films a year. That's like 500 films being shot here, right here in Chicago, in this city. And I tell a beginning actor, just think it like this: how many of those can you be in? And so, and those students, my teacher, Ted Sorrento's, always said, do the student films because they grow up to be filmmakers. And over the years, I found that to be true. I'm working with people over and over again. And so with the accessibility of cameras these days and the inexpensiveness of it all, equipment, I mean, those students and individuals buy equipment and they shoot movies. They graduate, they still stay in Chicago, they live here, they shoot movies. You got student film shooting movies, you got independent people shooting movies. As maybe 1,000 movies a year being shot here. How many of those can you be in? So it's work.
Cool beans. What do you think about that, young lady?
I totally agree. I believe networking is king. I really believe it's all about who you know, but not necessarily who you know, building good relationships with who you know. And it's one thing that I heard about, I don't remember who said it, but I do remember hearing that when you network, you should network across opposed to networking up. Issa Rae, network across.
Issa Rae.
The sister who does Insecure.
Got it.
Right. And what she meant by that is, we have peers that are around us, so many resources that we can tap in to make things happen. We don't have to feel that we need to network and reach the Tyler Perrys or what have you, even though that could be possible. But we have a plethora of resources around you. Utilize those resources.
Sister said plethora.
I just want to say, Robert Townsend said that too. He did a talk here over on the west side. Yeah. That theater, he was sitting there and there was a ton of people in the theater. He says, people come up to me. You don't have to come up to me. Look around you. Look at that person next to you. Everybody in here has got something to do with something as far as business. Just network and create your own stuff. Mm-hmm. You were there, Mark. I'm pretty sure you were, because there was a lot of people in that audience. I was like, he's right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right, now check this out. I've been doing Sing Chicago for the past 10 years. I started this organization about 10 years ago, and I've seen it grow from where it is in Chicago to across the country. We got 5 offices: LA,
that's great.
Dallas, Detroit, Chicago. I said that already, right? New York. Just double checking. Now, with the advent of social media and the presence of social media, how is that advantageous? Is it
definitely?
So how so, Mark?
Well, look at Kevin Hart's career. I mean, his career as well as that because of social media. And remember when they did the promotion for the movie, I forget what great director, Ice Cube, straight out of Compton. And the way they used social media was genius, because what they were doing is that they had everybody putting straight out of Chicago, straight out of Detroit. That was just genius,
Absolutely.
So social media it plays a big part in how we use social media. Plays a big part in our careers.
I got you.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Renee, what do you think?
Oh, absolutely. A lot of my acting connections are on Facebook. I mean, they've seen me in something, they find me on Facebook, and then they will message me and say, "Hey, I have a role for you. Are you interested?" And I read the scripts, and and then the rest is, it works out. So
Go ahead, come on.
Oh no. So and also you connect with people across the country, but also the world. I mean, you can make friends with filmmakers in other countries.
Sure.
And I don't know, it's really fascinating to see how many people are actually interested in the same thing you are, and it's fun to make those connections.
Social media has made the world a lot smaller. Because I know when I tagged you
Yes.
in that promo on Seeing Chicago,
Right.
I saw it kind of blew up like the World Trade. I was like, look at this. I mean, I'm like, and a number of people, don't worry about it. It's a telephone. It happens. It's okay. He crashed. Your phone rang. It's okay. What he stole her chocolate. Come on. I mean, it's
family.
We family here. That's what I'm talking about. Thank you, Mr. Winfrey. So for this, go ahead, Mr. Dennis. What do you think about this? And that. I like that pink New York hat too, by the way, brother.
Thanks, bro.
Yeah.
Social media has been very, very good to me. It's a way to share my wins and the responses, and that way, people become fans and they want to support you because they see that you're doing something. And social media is that outlet. I remember back in 1999 when I was talking about my acting troupe, we used to meditate and sit back and talk about the future. And I remember specifically one time, even before I knew about it, I was like, one day we'll be able to make movies on the internet,
And they laughed at you.
No, we were all honing together, our abilities. And so we was talking stuff into existence. And just it's like a year and a half later, there was social internet and social media and all that stuff.
Sure.
And so it was amazing. And so today it's blossomed into my page is my website. My social media is my web connection to YouTube and Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest. All of these pages linked. All of these pages are working for me. And it's a way for people around the world to see who we are and what we're doing, because we can just share it without boasting, without bragging. Share, and people become attached to you.
RT in the building, so we gotta let you rap now, young man. Come on, talk to me.
What's going on? Thank you, man, for allowing me to crash the party. I was just riding with my friend here. I'll try to be as brief as we actors can be.
No such thing, young man.
I know, right? That's sarcasm if you could get it. I'm my great friend Tiffany Edison here. I met her in her first play. I'd probably done a few by then. And ever since I met this woman, she's had this vibrance about herself.
She got an energy about her. Am I right, brother?
It just, I can't even deal with it. If I try to talk back to Miss Addison, she put me in my place, and I was acting before she was. But I saw her grow like a sunflower, just tall over any other flower. That's the way I think of her.
Hold on for a second. Come on now. You gonna make me weep, man.
I'm serious.
There's no crying on my first show. We can't do that on our first show.
Checks in the mail.
No, but real talk. She blossomed so much from just starting to want to be an actress to wanting to write. Now I want to write and I want to direct and I want to do this and I want to do that. And she has never limited herself as an artist or a woman, from what I've come to find out about her. So I just wanted to say that first. That's all.
Okay.
I was just coming to sit and watch her through the window, my good friend.
Well, you in the studio now, bro.
I'm in it now, man. He got me on the mic. I'm on the mic. But via her, I've been inspired by Mark Harris. He doesn't know how much because I don't get to talk to him so often. But
it's gonna cost you to talk to Mark now. He's got $1 million budget, so it's gonna cost you to talk to Mark. You got to go through me.
I got $15 when we leave for interest. But Tiffany said, "Ronell, I'm gonna write a script, and I'm serious, and I want to shoot a movie." And before she wanted to direct it, and when I read the script, I had the luxury to read it, and I mean, I was choked up in the reading.
Come here, girl.
The script. Seriously.
Come here, girl.
I read the script at 5 a.m. and was done at about 7:30 and called her immediately, like with tears in my eyes, because I just reading the script, but to see that grow and for her to take it so seriously, and you, Mark, congratulations to you guys, for real. I'm really, really, I'm really proud of you. I'm not. I'm just.
We're trying to put Chicago on the map.
Yes, sir. And that's what
we're
going to
say.
Man, we go way back. I started acting in high school. My best friend I went to high school with was Nelson Ellis, who unfortunately has left this earth. But we started acting together in high school as in drama club.
And he was on
the show True Blood for 7 seasons. He was in Get On Up. He was in The Help. He was
you can send me True to the Game.
True to the Game is the movie out right now that he's in. Yes, sir. It's all about connections. And that's who I started. That was my ride or die. And man, we went to Columbia, and man, the teachers there were so amazing and put us on. Like, my first play was at the Steppenwolf because of the director, Ronald J. Parson. He was directing something at Columbia, met me. Bam. Yeah.
We just connected with the Steppenwolf Theater and did a feature on those guys with Seeing Chicago, the magazine. Those are amazing people over there.
Yes.
And more importantly, we got about a few more minutes left before the show is over with. And I just know we can probably all, come on now, we can probably all talk for another hour or so.
Absolutely.
So we got to talk to Earl about, getting another hour in here. But I want to, in parting shots, I want everybody to go down the line and tell me what you're doing, what they can look for from you, and we'll go from there, and how to contact you, your social media contacts, any events, any cool stuff, or anything you just want to say to me. Roland.
Well, for me, as I mentioned, Nothing Like Thanksgiving will be screening at Movie Studio Grill on 87th on April 23rd. That's one event that I have going on. I actually will be doing a play with Timeline Theater that's up north. It's called To Catch a Fish, and actually the director is Ronald J. Parson. Okay. And right. And I'm actually also working on 2 TV shows and a feature film that I'm looking to start producing next year.
I'm gonna bounce down to Harold because I want you to close out, man.
No, thank you.
Thanks for having me on your inaugural show again.
Thanks for showing up, brother.
I've got a bunch of stuff that's supposed to be coming out and stuff in festivals around all over the place. You can just go to IMDb and type Harold Dennis in imdb.com to see the projects, and then you can look them up online. I also I do 1 or 2 or 3 workshops a year, and I may do another one next month in April. And this is the first time I'm saying this. I'll possibly be teaching an on-camera class at Second City coming up real soon.
Ms. Domins?
Well, thanks for having me as well. And I've just worked on 4 films in the last few months that are all in post-production. A lot of the things I've been working on in probably the last year are still in post, but you can do the same. You can find me on Facebook, Renee Domens, and also IMDb to see what I'm working on as well. I just finished a feature film not that long ago with Jim Brewer from Saturday Night Live and awesome. Eddie Steeples from My Name is Earl. Great guys to work with, and so I've worked with some really great people, so I'm excited about that. Looking forward to seeing the finished product, but I will keep everyone posted on Facebook, and so thanks again for having me.
Awesome. Great smile. And Mr. Mark Harris.
I want to thank you for having us, definitely. I truly appreciate it. So we're doing the House Behind the Tracks, which we started to film in August 13th in LA. Okay. Also, what we're doing is we have the Black Privilege, the pilot that we have been pitching out. So we should be making an announcement in the next month or so, as far as we're in talks with 2 companies.
Wow.
For a television deal. So we should know something within another month or so. So that's about it. Okay. That's about it so far.
So how can we reach Mark Harris?
1555 Filmworks, 1555 Filmworks. You can Google that, and then all of my social media will come up and the website and everything.
All right, now I'm gonna do, because I'm trying to audition so I get a role in this thinking about from August 13th. So King Kong ain't got nothing on me. That's my best answer.
You're hired. Cast that man.
First of all, I want to say thank you, everybody, for showing up and coming out. I appreciate you all. I want to shout out to iHeartRadio and shout out to My Chocolate Soul for being a sponsor with the amazing chocolates. Thank you, Ramona. And thank you, Chicago. Tune in next week.
Thanks, Chicago.
Thank you. Thank you.